We're really excited to be back home, and I know we're close to a sellout again. I mean, last week against Kentucky, it was just incredible in here, and that's how you build a program. It really is. I mean, that's how you build a program, and that's what we have to be able to do to get that kind of support, from across the board. You know, the community, the students, obviously, the faculty and administration, the state. You know, that's how it gets done, and we're looking forward to this because Tennessee is playing well. They've definitely gotten a shot in the arm in there, and since they've added the young man from Europe and how he plays and the way he shoots the ball, they've got a lot of veterans that were part of a great team last year, Sweet 16 team, and Coach Barnes, I think, is going to be in the Hall of Fame at sometime in the very near future. So just like any other night in this league, I mean, it's going to be an incredible challenge for us, and Tennessee knows how to win. They compete at a incredibly high level, very, very physical on the glass. Another game when I think we're going to become a broken record with this, but every game you play, you just see more and more how important rebounding is in this league, and how good people are at it. And it's not something that you do, it's a way that you live. And I think that's what's different in this league. I mean, they live on the glass. Auburn lived on the glass. Kentucky lives on the glass. We got to learn how to live on the glass. You know, we've got to learn to be able to do the same thing. So to me, bottom line is our level of improvement has got to stay up. We had a really good day of that yesterday, and we've just got to continue to make sure that our improvement leads to confidence, right? Because there's no time to get sad, distracted. I mean, you just got to keep getting better. I mean, it's a very, very long season anyways, and when you've got 9 freshmen, it becomes that much longer times 3 or 4 because they're not used to any of it. And you've got to find ways to keep it creative, keep it juiced up, keep it exciting, but at the same time, get them to understand what it takes to win. And what it takes to win a lot of times is the things that you've got to be able to eliminate that sometimes you don't want to eliminate because you've had success with it in the past. Well, at this level, the fundamentals of it, the toughness of it, the stick-to-itiveness of it, those are the biggest things that have to happen.
Are your players getting the message about the importance of rebounding?
Well, they're in the games. I mean, it's every day. When you've got this many new guys, it's an indoctrination. It's a new experience for them. And it's time and time again. It's like when practice starts. Boy, it's hard the next day too. It's a challenge the next day, and the next day, and the next day. You know, you've got to keep getting better today, tomorrow, the next day, the next day. That's what rebounding is in this league. I mean, every day you're going against really tough, competitive. This is an older team. You know, they've got some young guys, but this is an older team in playing Tennessee, much like Auburn was an extremely older team, you know, so they know what it takes to win. We don't have that yet. But every day they've got to understand that the rebounding is going to be a huge part of any equation if we're going to have success.
How was Severe a different player for your team as a starter as opposed to coming off the bench?
I don't know. We treated him as a starter. I don't know if we look at it any differently. You know, I think it's, I think all the way across the board, you know, we want to see Tyree, Jordan, Donnell, you know, continue to get better and better, play with more consistency. Play the way they're capable of. Severe can help facilitate some of that. You know, same with the other guys. But Severe makes a lot of things happen. And what we need him to continue to do is be a vocal leader, right? I think it's natural to him, but he's got to bring it out. Sometimes he needs to be reminded. But that's one of the challenges that we have for him, be that vocal, verbal leader and be that guy that's on the attack, but put your teammates where they've got to be. You know, be comfortable with that. Be comfortable telling a guy where he's got to be, telling a guy what he's got to do. And it's hard for a freshman to do that, but we need that. And that's part of what that role demands, you know, when you're in the lineup like that.
You mentioned that level of improvement. How do you keep boosting that and keep getting to the next level?
No, it's daily. I mean, I think when you've done this a long time, you know what improvement looks like, even when they don't. And the days run together for players, especially young players. And it becomes Groundhog Day, you know, but it's not for coaches, and it can't be. If it's Groundhog Day for coaches, that's a problem, right? You have to get players out of that. You ever see that movie, Groundhog Day? Okay. Yes. So, like, that's what you have to make sure that you don't let happen, because that's what it is. They haven't seen Groundhog Day. I'm sure we could go through the locker room and maybe find 2 people that would have seen that movie, but that's reality when you get into December, but especially January and February. And you've got to work through that. And that's why keeping creativity, yesterday, probably the first 50 minutes of our practice was spent just on shooting and driving the ball, right? Like building the offense. It wasn't scrimmaging. It wasn't different. And we got to keep building their confidence, because no matter what we do defensively, no matter what we do rebounding the ball wise, no matter what, Okay, our players are no different than the majority of other players. They get a dose of energy with seeing that ball go through the basket. All right, they really do, and it's a rare player. Rare player. I've coached a couple, but not very many. It is a rare player that can play at the highest of levels, okay, when they're not scoring or the shot's not going through for them, right? And that's college basketball, right? And how quick you get over disappointment and don't let it turn into discouragement is the key to your growth, right? And so, like, we've got to keep making sure that every day we're opening up the growth plates of this team.
How do you know when you're seeing improvement with your team?
Well, I think I think you see it on film. Certainly, winning is the ultimate result, but you have to be able to see it on film. You trust other people outside of your staff, right? You trust your staff, but there's other people that have paid attention to your team that you know they know what it's supposed to look like. I think that helps. There's a lot of different ways. Numbers. I mean, there's a lot of different ways.
What do you see as the defensive issues the last couple of games? How do you address that?
Well, I think the biggest thing, lack of communication, really hurt us. We got our heads down when we weren't making shots. We missed free throws. We missed layups, right? And it's one thing to miss a jump shot. It's another thing to miss a free throw and a layup. It just like deflates you times 3. And I think that was our immaturity coming out. And we had some empty possessions in the Kentucky game, which they capitalized on. Another area of our defense, we're getting some turnovers. Like I think there was a span of 6 turnovers that Kentucky had against us. We didn't score in any of the 6. And we had much the same the other day. We're not capitalizing when we create a turnover or when the other team gives it back to us. But I think the communication part is going to clean up a lot of stuff. You know, when we switch, when we don't switch. The other part of it is we just got to be more physical when the shot goes up. And we've got to be this is a universal issue in all of college basketball. But we've got to be more alert and aware.
How difficult is it without the size, the shot blockers of Claxton, of Amonzi to do what you want to do?
Well, I'm not sure Amonzi was blocking many. Nick certainly did. And Derek was a force. We missed that. You know, Nick was a different imposing force. You know, we knew going into the season that we're not going to get a lot of that. But we've got to get length. You know, length creates deflections. Activity and alertness creates deflections. You know, the deflections sometimes can be just as good if we're not going to get a lot of block shots. But we're spending a lot of time on verticality. You know, we need to draw charges more, but verticality is very, very important. And that's one reason that we switch, you know, more and more, because we want to make it tougher and tougher for the ball to go easy into the post.
Do you sense a reluctance on Anthony